Okay, so Susan, you and I were talking about Donald Trump, and Mr. Trump has been taking the world by storm. He has been conducting Nazi blitzkriegs all across the country. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Don't find it funny.
I think it's
Don't find funny. Don't find the N word funny. I don't find the N word funny either. But I have a different N word than you. Go on.
okay. Okay. And he's been just going from city to city, state to state, and every time people count him out, he becomes more and more relevant to American politics, and
That's
he's actually even swayed you. So tell me, what is your perception of Donald Trump as a presidential or as a Republican nominee and potential president of the United States? What are your thoughts?
Well, having won the last three contests handily, it looks like he's going to run the table. He's probably going to be the Republican nominee because it's certainly clear that neither Rubio nor Ted Cruz is going to back out. I think if they joined forces and agreed that one or the other of them would be the guy, they might be able to, but the egos are too strong. They're not going to. It feels like Donald Trump is going to run the table here, and if he does, then he has my vote. Certainly, I am not voting for Hillary or Bernie. By no means would I ever vote for Hillary or Bernie. And what's interesting, I think, about Trump, and when his candidacy started 6 months ago, everybody looked at this like it had to be a little bit of, this had to be sort of humor, right? This couldn't be a serious bid for the presidency. And every month, every week, every day now, it feels very real. And I feel like it's a good thing. And here's why I think it's a good thing. We have done the scholar gentleman thing in the White House enough. All of our presidents have been scholars and gentlemen. Well, when we think about it, in our nation's history, what presidents have been sort of mavericks, cowboys, crazy men, loose cannons? The two that come to mind for me are Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson didn't play by any rules. He was nuts by every measure. And Theodore Roosevelt, who also didn't play by the rules. He was unlike anybody. We'd never seen anybody like Teddy Roosevelt. Maybe we have come to a point where we need a candidate who is just completely unlike the scholars and gentlemen that we've put in the White House before. Maybe we need a guy like Donald Trump who, if he does nothing, he'll get stuff done. This we know for sure. I mean, Donald Trump was a New Yorker, and in New York, as a businessman, he certainly knew how to get things done. I think that if he becomes our president, and still, it's hard to even say those words without, sort of shuddering a little bit, but if he becomes our president, he may not be the most diplomatic guy in town. He's certainly not the most diplomatic guy in town. But will he get stuff done? Yeah, I think that he will get stuff done. I think he'll get the economy back on its feet. I think he knows how to create jobs. I think he knows how to negotiate deals with foreign countries. I think that he doesn't care about being politically correct. Now, what do I love more than a man who doesn't care about being politically correct? Do the right thing instead of do what you're being told to do by your pollsters. He doesn't talk to his pollsters. He says what he thinks. I think that if he becomes the president, if he becomes the nominee, we know exactly what we're getting here. No surprise. No surprise. And I think he would hire extraordinarily smart people to make the important determinations of how we move forward. I think he knows that there are things that he doesn't know. As anybody who runs a business, you don't perform every function within a business by yourself. You have to hire the best people. You surround yourself with the best people who know the things that you don't know. And that's the way a successful business is run. And maybe we've come to a point in our nation's history where we need a businessman, somebody with that kind of mentality to step into the Oval Office and say, you know what, enough of all of this, scholarly, gentlemanly stuff. We're going to kick some ass. Now we're going to kick some ass. I like that.
Interesting. Well, I will say that it's funny to me. I'm curious. I want to ask you. You said that it shuddered to make you think about Trump as president. So you wouldn't be happy with him being president. You'd rather have somebody else.
I might be, but the thought of Donald Trump, the apprentice, the guy who's on The Apprentice, being, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago we all said, "Oh my God, there's never going to be a black man in the White House," but there he was. And now we're all saying, "Oh my God, there couldn't possibly be an entertainer, this crazy guy." Maybe maybe he will, and maybe he'll do a better job than you think he's gonna. I'm willing to give him a try because I don't see who in the field of candidates that we already know can do a better job. The only candidate that I could get more excited about would be Michael Bloomberg. Again, a New York businessman. A New York businessman. As mayor of New York for 12 years, he totally knows how to execute, how to get things done, how to govern. I would vote for Mike Bloomberg. And I love the idea of a short little Jewish guy in the White House. I love that. I love that.
Well, it is interesting because there's not a single candidate that I can see who even looks like they'd belong in the White House other than Hillary Clinton, just because we're so used to seeing her there. I'm not. I don't care, much about it, in terms of how it affects black people.
You should care very much.
No, no, I don't. I don't because I don't feel that Americans are given a choice. I feel that these people are kind of thrown in front of us by some secret group of people who have the ability to make these decisions, and even if you look at the Democratic side, even if Bernie Sanders got the popular vote, he probably still wouldn't be the nominee. Because they've got all these super delegate rules and all this other crap. And
right, it does seem a little rigged.
It's disgusting. It's horrible. And so ultimately, as an American, I'm offended by the system. As a black person, I'm triply offended, because I would say that, as a black American,